Hello, good morning. Welcome to Typonauts Are Go. This is Smashy, and I am here today to show you how I go about making a type cage, which is what's used to design various letter forms. Now, this is just how I do it. How I've done it. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to put a new process in place, and each time I've worked on something, I've always designed a new type cage per typeface. Now, I spent the summer working on a particularly expansive typeface called BDA Rose, and I'm honestly not happy with this. There's a lot of little tiny things that are on my that basically my fucking nerves. They're on me fucking nerves by like just the widths here. Uh, it is 6 in the morning. I'm awake when I'm normally in bed. This has always bothered me. So I can't honestly release this because there are just some things that bother the fuck out of me. So I'm going to start again, and this will be the third time starting over. Don't ask to see the first one because I can't find those files. Whee! Because I switched computers. So, anyway, we have these. So it's time to really determine what I want to do to make a new version of this to start over, to have a nice, expansive, clean, professional looking typeface, which is the hardest sort of thing to design because there are so many of them out there. So it's a question of, how do I differentiate my own? How do I make it look nice? How do I make it look professional? So, we're going to go into Illustrator. And I already have a nice new sheet set up, and we're going to set this up. Now, the original rose was built on sort of a rule of thirds. This didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So we're going to build it out of a square. We're going to do it as a rule of fourths. So, you know what? I'm actually going to do this as a grid. So, yeah, welcome to experimentation. So, I'm going to set a 4x4 grid. Now, this is what we have for general grid. So, we're going to do this. Okay. Actually, no, we're going to do 6 by 6. We're going to do vertical dividers. No, we need horizontal divider. 5. Okay. The reason we want the extra 2 layers here are for ascenders and descenders and accents. Like, this space is mainly going to be accents. This is going to be like lower edges here. Now, for these ones, you can actually go down a little bit lower. Having an extra 2 really works there. So, that's descender. So I'm going to mark these. So, I'm also going to make a line, a dashed line, right here. Okay, and we're going to do another one of these down here. I just need to make sure that I'm in OBS, or, yeah, okay, cool. So what we have here is, we can shrink this down, so there's the ascender. There's cap accent. There's cap height. This is the lowercase accent. Ooh. Neat. Here's the X height, and the X height is, the maximum height of most of the lowercase letters. So now the reason I'm putting in these particular spaces, these specific accent lines, is if you take a look at the original rows, there's the spacing for the accents is pretty uneven, so I want to have a sort of a set in stone space for the accents. Yeah, that's basically it. And this also includes the Oganex, the Oganex, and the other one whose name escapes me, but it's 6:12 a.m. I've just woken up. My sleep schedule has gone to shit, so I'm going to be patient with myself, and hopefully you'll be more patient with me. Eh. Okay, so going back to Illustrator here. So this is the space where these would be created. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a separate line, or a separate square here. And it's not going to be dashed. The reason I want to have this square in this space is to mark, the width that I want for the width that I want for the main lowercase letters. Now, so I'm going to go back to this. Now I'm going to add one more grid, which is horizontal dividers. 1. No, wait, no. Fuck. Horizontal number 6. Vertical dividers 0. So I'm trying to be very careful with this to put it in the sort of same space so I can have this extra space and primarily for wider letters such as W and M. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to use this. I might try to do this and just spread this out. But having this extra space here, which I'm actually going to put in the background, and then make it a lighter color, a lighter version of itself, and dash these lines. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's going to work. That is going to work very well. Okay. Let's see if I can fix this dash pattern a bit. Okay, so I have this, which is going to be my space for the baseline. And going down here, we have the basement, and in the basement we're going to put descender. Now this isn't the, now we have generally a working model here. Actually, I'm going to keep this as an option, but one of the things, if you take a look at rows, is most of the letters are sort of based in a sort of rectangular format. They're not particularly, even if you look at the E, the F versus say the N or the L, like the N is taking up more width. I'm still not happy with that corner on the U. Why do I do this to myself? Why? I don't know. Oh wait. Because I'm a designer, and as a designer, I am a masochist. And any designer who says they aren't a masochist is a lying sack of shit. So, going back here, we have this. Now, one thing I want to do is I'm going to create a new layer here. Just so I don't mess any of this stuff up. I'm going to lock this. And I want to determine what the corners are going to look like, what the curves are going to look like here. So I'm not actually going to. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use the I'm going to use the ellipse tool. Now, here we have, a general oval. I don't particularly want a general oval. So I want this to be a bit more. Which I like this idea, it's just I find it still a little bit lopsided. However, this is just going to give the basics, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be printing this out later and then working on it. So I'm just going to practice something here. Okay, I could just do that. So I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to set guides. Rulers. And yes, I know I'm, looking for basic fundamental things within Illustrator, but like I said, it's 6 in the fucking morning. Give me a break. So I'm going to go to halfway in the cap height and halfway at the baseline. Or roughly halfway. I'm also going to do this down here for the lowercase. so I'm going to once again do dashed lines here. And this one the smaller one, I'm going to make more compact. Okay, so this would basically be the curve structure here. So the O would follow this format. So just to give you an idea of how it would look. So we're going to go here. And here, if I can get what I want for the final. So this is what the O ultimately would look like. I mean, this is just very rough. I'd still have to go through this part. Like this, like what I'd be doing with this is sort of hand drawing it, you know, which is what I'll do later. Today is all about the is all about the just making the cage. Piss off! Don't show again. Fuck, I hate Adobe. So if remember, it's not a Typonauts Are Go stream unless I'm saying fuck, I hate Adobe. So. But basically, this is sort of the idea, something more rectangular. Now, I'm not over the moon about this idea yet, so I'm going to. But this is the joy of experimentation. So I'm going to take this, all of it. And I'm going to keep the height for now. But I'm going to bring the width in. So, I'm going to try this again. Alt. Bat. Also, on a completely unrelated tangential side note, if you haven't watched this series of what we do in the shadows, you are doing yourself a disservice. That shit is hilarious. I know there's a lot of people who have made Jackie Daytona shirts, and I want one. Okay, so Sorry, allergies. It's not the COVID, I swear. So, okay, so I'm really liking the 70s feel of this. I mean, that is my favorite era of design, so it makes sense. Um, so yeah, this is what I think I'm going to keep. So now we're going to get rid of these O's, which are, very rough O's. Not as rough as they're about to be, but still rough. And take all of these, group them, shrink them so I can fit more onto a page. And normally when I do these, they're all a sort of a uniform blue. That's, going. I mean, that's going for back when they used forget what the name of the camera was, but they used a camera that wouldn't pick up cyan. Like that wouldn't pick up just cyan, so it was used for magazine layouts before what is now InDesign was a thing. So we can get 16 type specimens. We could probably actually get 20 per sheet. But I also want to make these as light as possible. Transparency. Because my plan is to scan these so I can then bring them into... I'm going to try doing something different this time, and that is bring them into FontLab directly once I've done the pencil and penning. I'm planning on doing these via ink and then doing the whole thing in FontLab, so I don't run into the issues that I tend to run into when I'm bringing something from Illustrator directly in, which things don't always work out properly. So if I can do that, I'll have greater control over what I want to do. We'll see if it works. Or if I come running back to Illustrator like a little bitch. Which I probably will. Because I am one. I'm so glad nobody watches this except for like 6 wonderful, awesome people. So, print. So I have 20. I want 6 of these. Now I'm going to go set up the printer. So, we have our first sheet. They're all going to look like this. Let me see how it's looking on the camera. Let me turn on my... fuck, that's bright. So, this is going to give me enough space to work on. Plus, I have the clear markings for the rounded objects. Also, the light is really shiny off the bald head. So, basically, Typonauts will be go again. Yay! In the meantime, I'm going to show you something I've been working on, something for my portfolio, as this will be. I've been working on this project called Selby's Cafe, because I have 3 major projects coming. A theoretical branding piece called Selby, the typeface called Rose, and my album called Mary, because they're all named after my late grandparents. I'm not doing one after grandfather James, because I never met him. So, I just want to show you the evolution of this logo here. Let's see here. Well, it started with this because it was going to do I was going to do one that looked sort of rough. That looked like it was a I don't even know where those are. I was going to do one that was a scanned relief print that's based on this. That didn't work out. I was not particularly happy with it. So then I decided to do something like this, which was more of a... it almost looks more like it came out of the 50s, just with the way that it's written. Still not super happy with it. The partridge berries here don't really fit. So what I did, however, because I really like that S, is I made a sheet of these because I wanted to keep that S. And what I did was I printed it off, I grabbed a Sharpie and did some sketching around it. So just creating a few basic logo forms. The one that I really liked was this one, with the box coming around, being somewhat disconnected, but the use of rows wasn't really working for me. Which is why I want to redo it, because like the projects are interdependent. But I also decided to try looking at creating more of a visual logo than something that was super reliant on copy. So what we have here is the S and the C. Now there's still kind of an angle here. To make it look like a cup of coffee, because it is a cafe. Now, hey, you get back there. So, SC to create something clever. So that's where that project is going to go. It's going to be, a cafe loosely based on, Newfoundland. Like sort of like smaller Newfie villages like my family is from. my families are from, specifically mother and father. So that's going to be fun. So keep on the lookout for that. In the meantime, we have our type cages. And I am going to have some fun with these. And I will show you what happens next. So until then, peace out.